Good morning, everyone. I hope that you have enjoyed yesterday's lesson 2.8, homeostasis. And today we are going to move a big move into processes in molecular genetics. So happy Tuesday, and let's enjoy together what we're going to learn today. In grade 11, you have studied genetics and crosses and Mendelian genetics, non-Mendelian genetics. In today's lesson, we are going to put together the science of genetics that you have learned in grade 11 and the structure of DNA that you have learned in Unit 1 to understand how inheritance takes place at the molecular level. So this is today's roadmap. Start with reminders. You'll start by going to your day 11 Google form. This link works, as well as the announcement link. And check in for today to mark yourself present. Then go to the tracker sheet. I've seen that some of you have already used the tracker sheet. Please do so on regular basis. The most important thing that you should remember is that our Teams meeting will be tomorrow, not today, at 11, because I want you to have already covered 2.8, 2.9 to have a general discussion on these two lessons before starting 2.10. So go to your announcements as usual, read today's roadmap thoroughly step by step, check the activity feed, there is the recording of the last meeting, take your note-taking form from the activity feed, start working on your, there is a mastery check, it's not a quiz, it's a task that will sum up all the work that you will learn today. So as you are going through the lesson, you'll be taking notes and summarizing the steps of the central dogma, or how genes are translated into proteins and proteins into specific traits or actions. We're going to collect all this work and wrap it up and submit it in the last assignment. So we are in the Unit 2, Biological Processes, and Lesson 2.9, Processes in Molecular Genetics. So we are going from genotype to phenotype. How would a genotype, which is the collection of genes that the person has for a certain characteristic, how would this genotype be translated into a phenotype or a characteristic that shows on the organism? So this is your game board. You have 3 should-dos. I advise you to do the should-dos, even if you're not going to submit them or save the reflections and summaries in your portfolio, but go through them just to remember. The first one will help you remember the biomolecules and how we can track them, the visualization. So it will remind you of an activity that you did in Unit 1 on visualization of biomolecules. The second task is a reminder of the nucleic acid chemistry and their structure. The third is a study of the history of discovery of DNA. So it will ask you to create a timeline after you read and go through the interactives, and then post it in the discussion and have a discussion about this timeline. Then we'll start with our actions and must-dos. We'll start with the organization of DNA. There are several interactives in this part. You'll go through the interactives, but while playing with them, you have to take your own notes and put them in a summary in your portfolio. In the second one, you're going to learn how this DNA, through its structure and adaptation, can be translated into proteins. And we call this the central dogma. So we'll go through the central dogma from genotype to phenotype. A lot of readings, many videos, many interactives. Take notes in your portfolio and start collecting notes for the processes in central dogma whenever it tells you to do so. And finally, there are 2 reflection questions, change 17 and 18. Should do, which also I do advise you to work on. It's on genetic continuity and the inheritance of characteristics. And you will post your reflection in understanding question 28 in your portfolio. Finally, there is a consolidation. It's a must do. You'll go through readings, videos, and interactives, which will look like a repetition of 295, but it's not. So they add more details. You'll take notes in your portfolio. You will reflect on shape question 19 and changes question 19. Collect all your notes, and you will use them in order to work on the mastery check task, processes in the central dogma. There are clear descriptions of steps that you should follow in the instructions of this task. And then you will reflect on the learning skills and work habits. And if you have any more work to catch up with, go work on that. So enjoy your time. There is very few new information in this lesson, but it just puts together your learning from grade 11 and unit 1 in this course in order to be able to understand the central dogma, or from genes to proteins, or from genotype to phenotype. Enjoy your time and have a great day. See you tomorrow at 11.